Hey there and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for being here. If you're new, make sure you subscribe before you leave, and if you're a returning subscriber, if you haven't already, hit that little bell down below for notifications on when I put up new videos. I upload twice a week. Alright, I'm gonna get a bit more comfortable here because I have, a decent amount I want to talk to you guys about, and that is something I feel like maybe I have never really even discussed here, even though it is kind of like the backbone of this channel, and that's how the heck do you start your body positive journey? Maybe you're just finding this video from a suggestion on YouTube, a friend sent it to you, you're just doing some research on your own and you kind of want to know where to start. Body positivity has been around for a long time, but honestly, sometimes we have no idea where to even begin this journey. So why don't we grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's get started. All right, first and foremost, you're here. Hello. You have taken step number 1. Wasn't that easy? Isn't that so much easier than you thought it was going to be? Because you're already on your body positive journey. If you've had this thought in your head that the way that you've been thinking about your body is not the way you want to feel about your body, feel in your body, that is already step number 1. That is already having the awareness that there is something more and that you want something more for yourself. I want to give you a little bit of a background on who I am and what my journey is, especially if this is your first time ever on this channel, or if you're just sort of discovering what body positivity means for yourself. I am 33. I have been involved in the body positive fat acceptance community for quite some time, and I was never the kind of person to feel amazing and wonderful about myself. Not even a little bit. I struggled with all kinds of insecurities my whole life, most of them stemming from the way that I looked, and I never in a million years ever thought I'd be the kind of person that could look at how I physically look and not only like, but love the way that I look. You can ask anyone in my family, they will verify that for you. And it was very long journey for me, but I am here, and I want you guys to know that if you're here yourself, and again, this is step number 1 for you when you're feeling really overwhelmed, maybe you're feeling like you couldn't possibly do it yourself, I just want you to take a deep breath. And recognize that there is no difference between me and you. I am just further along in my journey than you are. I have just had more exposure to this whole body positivity, self-love journey than maybe you have. That is the difference. That's it. Just know that you're exactly where you need to be. Step 2, and something that really helped me, was doing a lot of reworking my inner circle, my inner network. I think especially when you're kind of learning these new ideas about what bodies look like, what bodies can look like, how you can exist in whatever body type you have, you kind of have to look at your inner circle of people, or even like the things that you're consuming on a daily basis. And I'm not talking food, I'm talking things that you see on social media, or things that you watch on TV, or books that you're reading, or whatever that is, and look at the sort of stuff it's telling you to feel about yourself. I know for me, when I started sort of reworking the way that I was seeing the world, I realized a lot of just the shows that I was watching said a lot of really fat phobic stuff, and without even realizing it, it kind of led me to believe these things about myself. And oftentimes you would see these movies and these shows where it would always be the skinny girl getting the guy and the fat person would be the villain, or just the best friend and had no love interest or whatever, and like that stuff is very subliminal and very subconscious, and can really make you start to question, a couple of things about yourself. And maybe you have somebody in your close friends or in your family who says a lot of fat phobic stuff, and it seemed like no big because maybe a part of you believe that yourself, but they are perpetuating this idea for you, and they're going to unfortunately make it harder for you to challenge the things that you're trying to challenge about your way of thinking. So I know that seems like such a big step, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything drastic like cutting people off, but just be mindful that maybe there's a lot of projecting going on with people in your life, or maybe certain shows or certain movies or certain media that you're consuming is really helping kind of perpetuate this stereotype of fat bodies and why fat bodies are bad and why fat bodies are unlovable. Another great thing that you can do if you're just starting your body positive journey is I really implore you to do your research, which I feel like saying do your research is just kind of like one of those phrases now that's used to kind of like make people feel inferior, but I don't mean it in this sense. I mean, when I started my journey, it was very much in the Tumblr era where there was a lot of fat people showing off their outfits, showing off, you know, really unique ways that they were dressing. A lot of it was thrifting back in the day because there wasn't really a lot of plus size clothing available. Maybe it was like the dawn of ASOS Curve. But I know for me, just researching that, or, you know, spending hours like kind of seeing these people who looked so similar to me, and I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. For you, it could be something entirely different. But for me, having that be something that I was seeing on a daily basis really started to begin to plant the seed of like, wow, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can one day put on clothing and not hate the way that I look, or wear something that is totally outside of my comfort zone and feel like $1,000,000. And spoiler alert, I did, and I have, and I continue to do so. But that was the research I was doing. And then I did a lot of, you know, as things started progressing, finding articles people were writing, you know, kind of challenging a lot of those things that were told about fat bodies. Honestly, a big one for me growing up was like, I know it sounds really stupid, but like fat people smell. And also just like seeing that that's just like not true in any capacity. Like, I feel like I smell pretty good. A lot of the times I actually have been told I smell pretty good. So it was like, you know, one of those things that once you do this research, it really helps you look at the things that you've been told about your body, or the ways that you've been told to feel about your body, and just be like, oh my God, maybe none of that is true. Maybe I'm gonna start to think for myself about how I feel in this body of mine. And I can tell you, for me, that was a huge thing. Now, this next one might be a lot to take on, and if you're just new, you can do this in months from now, years from now, whenever you're comfortable. But go out of your comfort zone. That is going to be a huge deal, and also groundbreaking for you. For me, that looked like doing things like going to eat in places on my own. I know that for a lot of people, that is a big one. A lot of fat people, that is a big one. It was really scary at first, like really scary, because I've had people say things to me when I'm eating alone in public. I've had people make eyes at me. I've had people laugh at me. I've had people say some pretty messed up stuff to me. And so that was like a big one. That was a really scary one. I never ever wanted to do it until one day I was just like, you know what? I'm allowed to go and eat at the food court and buy food just like everyone else is. Why can't I go and consume this food that everyone else is consuming just because I'm fat? You know, even if I was this super unhealthy person that people are portraying me in their mind, I really feel as a fat person there is no winning. If I went with a salad, people would have their own narrative about me. If I go there with like a greasy burger from McDonald's, people are gonna have their own narrative about me. I'm allowed to take up space. It is really scary to be that hyper visible and feel super hyper visible, but doing that was really helpful. And you don't have to do it fully on your own. Those things can be really overwhelming, and they can look really different for everyone. You don't have to do it on your own. That is something that is a big deal and can be really scary. And I know when I did it in those beginning stages, I always had my phone by my side to make sure that I was texting friends, or, you know, looking at something to distract myself, and really just like reminding myself that I was allowed to exist and take up space. It is important to do it safely, slowly, and at your own pace, but I can promise you, really getting out of your comfort zone is a huge deal. All right, so this next one was absolutely life-changing for me. And I just want to put a disclaimer on this first. I am no therapist. I am just somebody who is giving you advice, you know, things that have worked for me. And by all means, if you feel like this would be a safer thing to do with a therapist or professional, I absolutely 100% suggest you do that. But I did a lot of inner work. I mean, really addressing a lot of those things that I was telling myself my whole life about being fat. Those were really deep-seated things. Some things I didn't even realize I was telling myself. A big one was I would never find love at my size. And guess what? when I looked at my history in life, when I looked at the amazing examples I saw of fat people in love, I realized there was no truth to that. And once I realized there was no truth to that, I started to ask myself, what other things have I thought I couldn't do because of the way that I look, because of the size that I am? And addressing those things, doing that inner work, finding those little things that you've told yourself along the way and disproving that will be the biggest, most life-changing thing you can do. A lot of the times the reason we don't even like the way that we look isn't even necessarily because of the way that we look or the way it feels on our body or the way or what we see when we look in the mirror. I can 100% guarantee when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're thinking, I don't like my thighs, I don't like my belly, I don't like this, I don't like that. There's something behind that, a thought that sometimes we don't even realize we're having. And once you pinpoint what that thought is, write it down. Write it down immediately, put it somewhere where you can remember what it is. Make sure you work on disproving that thought. Now, I know body positivity is one of those things that I've been doing for a while, but I still have moments like this where I feel those ways or I'll have a thought like that. The other day, I noticed my double chin. You know, I'm on my period, I'm bloated, it is what it is. I noticed my double chin. And I didn't like it. And I had this big moment of feeling super insecure about myself. I was like, oh my God, like I couldn't stop going like this. And then I realized, why am I doing that? Why am I so hyper aware of my double chin? And I realized it's because I thought it didn't make me attractive anymore. Okay. If it doesn't make me attractive, why do I feel like having a double chin doesn't make me attractive? How many people do I follow that I feel like are attractive? I have so many amazing examples. What is it really that I feel? Well, I'm a single woman. Maybe I thought it would mean that I wouldn't find the love that I want. Maybe I thought it would mean that I wouldn't, in some way I thought I would disappoint people by having a double chin and people wouldn't want me or whatever that was. And I realized in that moment exactly the path that I was going down. I said to myself, I've had a double chin this whole time. My face has looked like this whole time. How many people have been interested in me? How many people have I been interested in? How many people have I had amazing sex with? How many people have told me they like me? How many people have I fallen in love with and fallen in love with me? Double chin included. These are things we are capable of disproving. And for all of us, it's very, very different things. For me, it's love. Love is a big one, and being able to find companionship and realizing that looking like this isn't going to prevent me from finding companionship. Absolutely groundbreaking. There are so many different things that maybe even to this day I don't even realize myself and are in my blind spots, but just continue to do that work. Continue to challenge yourself. Continue to notice the thoughts that you're having that maybe are so faint and so little. But go ahead, break those thoughts down, disprove them, and take as long as you need to do so. Another great step you can take if you're on your body positive journey is surround yourself with positive reinforcement. I'm not saying create a bubble of like yes men or people who are just going to constantly hype you up if you're doing terrible, terrible things in your life. That's not what I mean. I'm saying positive reinforcement as in like influencers you follow. Unfollowing people as well who make you feel pretty shitty about yourself. That's definitely something to remove from your circle. Follow people on Instagram who make you feel good about yourself. Befriend people who are on this journey themselves or way further in the journey than you are. Really surround yourself with people who are committed to body positivity just as much as you are. This really ties into that pretty much, I think, like rule number 1 or 2 that I have, where who we surround ourselves with can really like impact the way we feel about ourselves, and sometimes we don't even realize it. But once you kind of start changing up who you're around and who you're surrounding yourself with, you realize, okay, maybe this isn't as hard as it seems. Maybe if I'm not the only one struggling, or I have people who I can go to when I feel like I don't feel so good about myself to remind me of this journey that I'm on, will feel a little bit lighter. Will feel like I'm not alone in this. And it's always great to feel like you're not alone. Now, I think I've pretty much covered all the big ones. One to remember as sort of like the last thing if you are starting this body positive journey is just remember that the self-love journey is not linear. It is all over the place. You're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. If you've had like a string of like really amazing days, hell, you felt great about yourself for months, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you wake up one day and you just don't like the way you look, or you're having those negative thoughts repeating in your head and you're just like, oh my God, I've lost it. I'm not this person anymore. Just remember, it is not linear. Self-confidence is something that no matter how long you've been working at it, you will have to continue working at it. Bodies will change. You'll have new experiences in the world. You're fighting this like however many year long narrative about your body that is really, really hard to overcome. I don't think I know a single person who is on this body positive journey who hasn't had some negative day. There's so many factors at play. And just remember, if that is something you're experiencing, it doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you can never feel good about yourself. It doesn't cancel out the times you have felt good about yourself. Just remember that, you know, for all of the bad days you've had, you've also had a lot of good days. And that is just part of the journey, unfortunately. Be patient with yourself and know that this is a tough journey to be on, but it's not an impossible journey to be on. And I wholeheartedly believe in you. All right, well, I'm pretty sure I've covered most everything. If there's anything that I'm forgetting, I will either put it in the comments below, the description below, or make a part 2 to this. Who knows? I'll see you guys next time though, so don't forget you can find new videos from me every Wednesday and every Sunday, and new blog posts every Tuesday and every Thursday, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Why I should ever let you go. Don't wanna wake up if I'm dreaming, because you know I can't get enough of this feeling you're giving me. Don't wanna wake up.